We're going to wait just a few more minutes, but I hope folks that are settling in, taking good care of themselves. I know I've spoken to this before, and I will be a broken record about this, to take this time, to take this space, to take good care of yourself, to set up your spaces as you need. What we lose from being physically separated and not getting to be in studio or shared space together, I think we gain in getting to really have agency and care and intentionality with our sacred spaces. So please set that up for yourselves. And also, if you are running around or this has been a busy morning, I thank you so much for just logging in, and you're welcome to also have this kind of playing in background and to take it with you as you need it. That's okay too. Just be safe if you're moving around the world. Take good care of yourself while you're doing that as well. Yeah, but set up good space. Doesn't have to be seated. I know a lot of times we think about meditation practice as this one kind of seated practice. And I think meditation, mindfulness, it happens everywhere all the time, ideally, that we are just more mindful and more conscious beings. And so know that you can really do this wherever and however you come to this space. And that I feel like is part of the roundabout way we're doing healing in this wound care practice, is like the reminder that all this space is good space. All this space is healing space. All this space is space where we take back agency over our own care and our own well-being, that we can do that anywhere. And so I hope that you all do that and feel empowered to do that. That is such a big deal that you've joined and that you are here and that you're taking good care of yourselves. And today, I think what we're actually going to do is we spent the first couple practices sort of learning how to meet and draw away. And as I talk about that agency building, today what we're going to do is we're really just going to sit in and to slow down. I will trust you all and encourage you all to take good care of yourselves as you need, to pull in, to pull back, as feels comfortable to you, as feels good to your healing process. So I want to invite you to really do that today. As I give a little bit less visuals, I give a little less pullback and kind of wording and visualization, that I hope that you think that you feel that into your body, since we've gotten a little practice with that. If you haven't been able to join us, that's okay too. Just know that, like, as we go through this practice, because today we'll be a little bit more still, we'll be a little bit more settled into breath and body and just being a part of that. Like, if it feels uncomfortable, like, you can always pull back. I love to take some big deep breaths when I'm slowing down. If I feel like I'm getting a little foggy, that is something that is very common when we have trauma, right? To take a few breaths, to, if you are in closed eyes meditation, to open your eyes, to look around the room, to create safe space for yourself. It is okay to need and to want and to give yourself safety. I think a lot of times we spend time in our healing practices thinking about symptoms. And that means that we oftentimes will think like, oh, I shouldn't be scared. There's nothing there. But as any trauma folks will tell you, like, whether or not there's an actual saber-tooth tiger behind me or not, it can sometimes feel like that in our bodies. And it is okay to allow ourselves to really check in, to turn around, to move our heads, to remind ourselves where our exits are and how we are taking care of ourselves. Please remember to do that for yourselves today. All right. So I'm going to invite everyone now to slow down, to settle in. I'm going to back up and probably have a little bit less eyes on comments and whatnot. So my team at Gather and Grow will respond if you need anything. But I just want to invite everyone to settle in, to take space as feels good to you. I always like to remove flesh from sit bones, to get seated, to settle in. If you're lying down, to make sure that your back is flat against that good grounding earth or bed. If you're standing, to feel all four corners of your feet on the ground, solid and strong. And to feel bones and muscles stack to take care of you. That are physical forms. While they can have their challenges, while we can differ in movement and ability, they're kind of these amazing vessels as much as they are challenging. And especially this year, after having so much fear over our physical and health safety, I encourage us all to sink in and to enjoy where and how our bodies can take care of us. I invite you to close your eyes or to soften your gaze if it feels safe and if it feels comfortable to you. I always like to start practice by inviting everyone to not necessarily do anything to your breath, but just to notice it. To notice the clarity, the length, the quality. Does breath feel long today or short? Does it feel stuck or open, rich or shallow? All of these things are how our bodies come to this space. We too often in our self-care practices get really attached and really judgmental about what we expect from ourselves. That healing should look a certain way, have a certain kind of clothing, right? Should feel a certain way, should feel bright, light, good vibes, whatever it is. And in truth, all of it, all of that checking in is good for us. As you start to settle into that breath, I encourage you to maybe get a few little wiggles out, to really try to sink down, settle in. If you are standing, I encourage you to stack your ankles above your heels, to feel into maybe rock back and forth on the feet, to open up the toes and the foot muscles, to get really grounded on the earth, to pull up and to protect the kneecaps, to tuck tailbone, to pull back center body. And if you are seated, to feel sit bones flat on the earth, to drop shoulders down, to let shoulder blades sink into back, to let back sink into body, create a little length in the neck and the spine, chin tuck, crown of the head to the sky, reaching up, growing up, finding some space. And as you do that, adding a little intentionality to breath, maybe just one count longer, deeper, maybe just one count longer, deeper on the exhale. Even starting to take and push belly button back towards spine using core muscles on the exhale to allow ourselves some space. Breath can be done through the nose or the mouth. I sometimes like to use the nose to slow down the breath. It's okay if you have a little sniffles this morning. Whenever I do this and I sniffle, I think, that's my lesson. I should be breathing differently. I should be breathing more intentionally. Sometimes we don't even realize how little we take full deep breaths in our lives. As you start to breathe and settle in, palms can be open and up to the sky, a little bit more receiving, down on knees or to the earth if you're lying down, a little bit more grounding. Or if you like to, you can bring one hand to heart, one hand to belly, and to sink in and to feel into the waves of your breath. I like to open full belly space. We spend too much time in our culture trying to make our bellies get smaller. Let those bellies open up to breathe deeply. So many ways that we directly or indirectly tell our bodies, tell ourselves to take up less space, to get smaller, to not disrupt. But when we are in openness, when we are in clarity, when we are in flow, that is a powerful place to be. A place where we are clear and confident in the space, where our bodies are allowed to move and play in safety, to show up just as they are in our full selves. As you round the corner of your next exhale, I encourage you, make that wave just a little bit bigger, expand it just a little bit wider. Any other movement that comes into body that you like, welcome it in, let it in, sink into it, trust it. So much of this wound care practice is about trust, that we have our own internal calibration towards safety and healing, and we too often defer to others. We too often deferred our own expectations instead of truly what we need just to heal. Rounding the corner of that next exhale, even a little bit bigger, even a little bit deeper, even a little bit more expansive. And as we get to this fullest, most expansive breath, just taking stock of what you feel in your body. Taking stock of what feels good and open and light and free and in flow. Taking stock of what maybe feels a little harder, a little bit tenser, a little bit more rickety, what has residue. And allowing all of that to just be. To send intentional breath in and out of the light spaces, to send intentional breath in and out of the harder spaces. All of these are spaces that are giving us data, information. Biggest, deepest breath up to the top. Full exhale. And then gently, slowly, like gradually coming down that mountain, inviting your breath back to maybe its normal meter. It's okay if that's a little bit different than when you started. In fact, I encourage you to notice if it is. I always notice that after breath practice, after movement practice, that my breath is a little bit fuller, a little bit deeper, just in its natural state and its natural flow. If hands are still on heart and belly, maybe drop them, relax the shoulders, relax the knees. As you get back to that normal breath, let's just take a few little chin neck rolls. I invite you to inhale as you get to ear to shoulder. Exhale as that chin drops to chest. Any time that we link breath to movement is a powerful practice. And invite some movement also into shoulders and chest. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, concaving. Just a little movement to bring me back from my deep, deep breath practice. And we're gonna run through our body check-in scan one more time. This time, we're gonna start from the top and head to the bottom. Inhaling, exhaling, see if you can feel the top, your hairline, scalp soften. Feeling eyebrows relax. Oftentimes we spend so much time with furrowed brow. To take a deep inhale and exhale to let the eyes soften, gaze go internal. And inhale and exhale to feel ears relax. Noticing how the muscles of the scalp head are connected. And inhale and exhale to let jaw relax, open and slack. A lot of us will hold a lot of tension there. Tongue can float lightly in the mouth. And inhale and exhale to let throat soften, trusting that what needs to be said can be said. And inhale and exhale into heart space, letting that good energy flow out over shoulders and biceps, forearms and fingertips. A breath into core center, fire. On that exhale, letting those sacred fires cool in the waters of the hips. Another place that we often store memory, store trauma. Can be some of our emotional, I don't always like this context, but sometimes called the emotional junk drawer, the place where our stuff gets stored and stuck. It's a powerful place, but be kind to yourself if anything comes up. And inhale and exhale to let the glutes soften, the thighs soften, these muscles, these big muscles that hold us up all day. To let kneecaps soften, put lightly atop knees, calves sink, heels melt. If you're lying down on the ground, toes open and release. And we'll take one more full inhale up the top. Exhale down to the bottom. And then as you're ready, without rushing, I invite you to either draw hands to heart space. If you like to come to those palms together, you can do that as well. A breath to honor ourselves and the courage that it takes to meet ourselves in these practices of healing. The breath to honor and be grateful for this digital space and the community around us. And I'd especially like to thank all of you for letting me grow and play and breathe in this healing journey. Let those last few exhales come out with a sigh. I always think that's a good way to end in close practice. And when and as you feel ready, wiggling fingers and toes, drawing attention back to the space, back to the room. And I want to welcome everyone back to the space. Thank you for being part of this practice. It might seem like we're moving from more intention and visualization to less. But I think for anyone who's ever really tried to sit with a silent meditation practice, with a still meditation practice, it is very, very challenging. So I want you all to really have gratitude for the courage that it takes to sit and sink in and to be still. It is one of the hardest things to just sit in the quiet. But I'm so grateful that you're all doing it. I'm so grateful that we're all here together and can share in this practice and this healing. We have one more Friday together this May. We have lots of time, I suppose, that we can always do this breathing, but one more intentional practice, wound care for the month of May, for Mental Health Awareness Month. I hope that y'all come back and join, to feel free to re-engage with these offerings as you feel good through the website and on the YouTube channel. They're there for you to hold and to practice with through your week. See what happens when you do just a little bit of practice every morning. Thank you all so much. It's so good to breathe here together. Have a wonderful Friday. Bye, everyone.